All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Health Movement Podcast. I'm Derek. I am a certified personal trainer and a teacher of over 20 years. Tim cannot join us this evening, unfortunately, but we do have a special guest. And when I say special guest, I know I always introduce shows like that, but this one is our first special guest and our first returning guest. So we're very, very happy to have her back. But before I introduce her, I just want to say that we're not doctors. So before you change any programming, change your diet, start new exercise programs, please consult your physician. But without any further ado, here is Sam Koop back with us.
I thank you so much for having me again.
Thank you for joining us. Last time you were on, you talked a great deal about training mothers pre and postnatal, and it was honestly a wealth of information that I did not know. I'm not ashamed to admit that. It's obvious you're an expert in what you do, but you also talked a little bit about a passion of yours or something that you put a lot of time and effort into, and that's the Bikini athletic fitness competition. I get the yes, okay. And you went down to the FMG International Worlds in Mexico in December, which
Yes.
I believe you're from. Are you from the Chicago area, if I remember correctly?
From the Chicago area.
And we're in Massachusetts. So Mexico in December, ended November sounds fabulous.
It was nice. We got hit with a lot of rain.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Nice. It's okay. I'd take it.
It's better than a blizzard or a lot of snow. So
it's very true.
All right. So I thought with talking with you that it would be good to kind of go through that piece of things with you. And I know people were curious as to how it went and kind of your prep, your training and everything that leads up to it. So I don't know where the best place for you to start off is, but I'm going to throw it to you and see where it goes.
I guess we'll start at the beginning. I didn't start competing until 2 years ago. I always said I never was going to. I joked all the time. I was like, I'm constantly competing, but with myself. You'll never see me get on stage. Well, I lied. I'm extremely internally competitive individual, and I was seeing so much success in my own transformations, and it kind of just fell hand in hand with clientele and finding my own rhythm in making my physique just a little bit better, and just a little bit better. Sort of naturally fell into that. I had a goal originally of just trying to top my physique with every child. I wanted to be able to put my photos up and say, I only got better after each kid.
And so just in case people didn't get to hear the first episode you were on, I believe you're a mother of 3 and you're 30. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually my birthday is in like a week. I'll be 31, but yes.
Oh, nice. Nice. Well, happy birthday if we don't,
Thank you.
If we don't hear from you by then. But all right. So 31, about to be 30. I don't want to age you too quickly there. 30 years old.
It's okay. It's nice. I think my kids did that.
Yes. Yeah. They do that pretty quickly to you.
It started sooner than most, pros and cons. But yeah, I wanted to put each one side by side and be able to say, like, I only got a better physique after each one. And then after the third, I started accomplishing a little bit more than I had anticipated. And it started off as a joke that I was going to go and get on stage. And then it started to become real. And we're like, oh, crap, this is actually happening.
Was that your idea to hop on stage, or did somebody push you into that or kind of encourage you?
I would say it was a combination of the two. I started having that competitive itch where I was like, I think I could actually win one of these. Yeah. And my coach that I work with for myself and my goals, he's been pushing me since like day one because he thought I'd be really good at it. And I was like, I'm never going to do that. Never. And then sure enough, I sort of fell in love with I'm a former competitive dancer. So being on stage I wasn't shy to that.
Yes.
And I think I relived a little bit of something that I was missing from my former competitive days, and all of a sudden had a new goal. I wanted to win.
There's nothing wrong. I mean, we can't rest on our laurels at age 30 or 45 or however old you are. It's you got to set new goals all the time and
Oh,
try to push
absolutely.
yourself to achieve it. So that's awesome. So that was
Absolutely. I
2 years
found,
ago when you first
yes.
started?
Yeah. I found a piece of myself that I was missing again when I finally got back on stage and started competing, both from a performance standpoint as well as competitive standpoint. Um, and the first one was a whirlwind. At the time, I was working 60 hours in person a week with clients. So I have 60 sessions a week. On the slow end, it was 50 if people were out of town. And then I have my 3 kids, obviously. One of them's a competitive dancer, so her schedule is kind of all over the place.
Yep.
They were also at 2 different schools, so we were doing 2 different drop-offs and pickups. And I was training for that first show. So I look back at it and I'm like, wow, I don't really know how I did that because I don't have the strength to do that now. I think I was running off of adrenaline because I'm not really sure how that was possible, but somehow made it happen. And looking back on it then, I did really well. I won that one. But I look at my photos the way I look now compared to then, and I was like, oh, I don't like the way I look. Disappointed in myself. But
No, no, you
I did
got to
win that one.
start
No,
somewhere, and you won at the beginning. Like that's a good place
it's
to start.
true. But it's part of the progress. I look at my way now. I'm like, okay, I look 10 times better now than I did going into that one.
Yeah.
But it's funny with each picture. I like that though. I want to be able to put them side by side. And in my words, I'm like slightly disgusted by the old photos. Like, oh, you did so much.
Oh, awesome. And you
And
did
that's the thrill for me. I am very internally competitive. It's not
what?
so much even with everybody that's on the stage. It's very me, myself, and I want to top that last
And
goal
I
that I
think at
had.
the end of the day, that's who you have to compete with. You're just trying to be a little better than you were the day before. And if you can
Yes,
do that in a long enough timeline, you'll get where you need to go. So
absolutely.
that's an
Absolutely.
awesome way to look at it. You
I
mentioned
enjoy that.
your competitive dancing and getting on stage, and I've seen a couple competitions. I've had friends that do it. It's not getting up there and just flexing. Like that's not it.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of movement, poses, and just the fluidity of everything
Yeah,
that also
absolutely.
is a big part of it. So I'm
It
sure your
is.
dance background definitely helped with in that regard.
I know. Pros and cons. My coach, he yells at me all the time that I rush too fast, but that's the dancer in me.
Uh,
But I get a little too into the performance sometimes, but it's okay. I have to take a step back. Um, but it's fun. I enjoy all of that. But from the first show, I will say it was it was an eye opener. I've never cut in my life the way that I started to cut for that, and I laugh because realistically, I wasn't that as strict that time around as I was this time. But for me, and I guess for any parent realistically who's trying to lose weight at all, I have a hard time with deprivation. If I feel like I'm not allowed to have something, I want it more. It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
significant problem with that. I have a huge sweet tooth, ginormous sweet tooth. I remember the very first time I prepped, I called my coach crying because I was emotional that I couldn't have something. And I literally am just bawling. And he answers the phone and he's like, Sam, I have enough emotional women in my life. I don't need you to. It's like,
It's probably the
yeah, okay.
perfect response for you. It's like, I don't have time
I'm
for
like,
this crap. Like, get over it.
like that might have been the eye opener I needed. But we did much better this year.
That's
Not just
well, it's the first time you're doing it too. You don't know what
yeah.
to expect. And like, you're not the only one who, when you deprive yourself of food or you're not eating what you're used to, like
Oh,
that's going to have an effect on you.
absolutely. And I haven't had that such a strict feeling in such a long time. So even for my clients, I'm like, that was a bit of an eye opener because I haven't felt that way in a while. So it was relatable in multiple aspects. But this year we did much better with that. And I competed twice this year. I got second both times, hoping for maybe a first this upcoming, this year
That's
now.
we went back and forth a little bit after this most recent show, and your competitive side kind of came through on that one, and
I know.
it's tough though because you don't get on stage to come in second, like you want to win, and I appreciate that so much, but you also don't want to discount all the work you put into it and everything you
Yes.
did accomplish. But I
Yes.
do get wanting to win though. That's
I get,
the
yeah.
goal.
I get very internally angry, not at anyone else. Those girls are gorgeous. Judges were great. The experience was lovely. The show
Yeah.
was awesome. But myself, I always come off upset that I could have done better. The former dancer in me is like, second is the hard place to lose.
Now, do you know, like, looking back at it, like, is there something you could have done differently, or do you have to target a different area that maybe some symmetry, or is there something specific you need to work on for the next one, if there is a next one?
Yeah, the answer is yes. I actually always have known what it was. I did a Dallas competition in July. Yeah, it was July. I got second in that one. And that was my first experience going on stage as a pro. I really didn't know what to expect. And that category as well was something I had not competed in before. No one actually had. That was new. So I was not really sure what to expect and what they were looking for exactly. But once I got the feedback for that show, I knew exactly what I needed to do for November. And I made, in such a short period of time, I am very surprised with myself and how I was able to significantly harden my legs, because I knew that was going to be the number one critique, as I needed to come in a lot harder, more size too, realistically. But I knew that in that time frame, I wasn't going to be able to bulk a lot, but I definitely came in a lot harder than I did the first time.
When was the Dallas one?
That was in July. I
So,
had
so you didn't.
about 17 weeks in between the two.
That's not.
So it wasn't a lot,
not a lot of time.
but I am very impressed with my photos, because I did shock myself at how much I was able to accomplish in that time period. It looked a lot better the second time around. Even some of the judges, they were there, or they had seen me. They had just been there in the audience the first time around, commented, and they were like, it was unbelievable the amount you accomplished in that time period. So I was thrilled with that. I know that I need to gain a little bit more size. So we're going into a lovely bulking season currently.
Is this going to be
Not
a dirty
my favorite
bulk
phase,
or a
but,
controlled bulk?
We're trying our best with the holidays. Made it a little bit of.
You know what I found? I have a little bit of a sweet tooth too, and we put out a newsletter for this. Oh, if you don't have the newsletter, you can hop over to healthmovement.us. There's a pop-up there. You can sign up for the newsletter. You can find us on YouTube, Health Movement Podcast. And again, at the website. I always forget to do that, so I'm trying to be better. But anyway, in the newsletter, I talked about a protein ice cream. Do you have an ice cream maker?
I got the Ninja Creamy for Christmas, and I haven't used it yet.
Sam.
But I've been saving recipes for, like, no joke. My husband makes fun of me because I've sent him literally for like 6 to 8 months, just like recipe after recipe after recipe when it pops up on my.
Fun.
I have it now.
All right, here's a simple one. Really, Fairlife milk. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Do like a cup of that, a scoop of chocolate protein powder. You do PB Fit, a scoop of PB Fit in there as well, and then a little bit of sugar-free pudding mix, the instant pudding mix.
Yeah,
like 10 grams. It's a life.
No, I'm very excited, and actually, I'm very excited as well because First Form uses their clear protein powder to make sorbet.
Oh,
and they have so many flavors that would be such good sorbet flavors. I'm like, we're gonna get to work pretty soon on.
The only thing is you got to throw yours in the freezer like a day before you want it.
Yes.
So
it's gonna be like meal prep container of ice cream. Yeah.
All right. Just
100%.
As long as you give it a go. That's my new thing, and I have been shouting it from the rooftops because
No, that'll be me.
Good.
That will be me.
Good. And you can get 40-45 grams of protein into the serving, which is awesome.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited to try that. It's been sitting on my counter. My daughter has had multiple dance competitions in the last 2 weeks, so we've been very focused on that end.
All right,
but
I'll give you
we
that.
get a little bit of a break until her national next month. So that's going to be my next project.
Okay.
It's protein.
All right. So you're bulking now. How long is that going to, when's the next competition?
We're thinking either October, November, maybe both.
Oh, okay. So then that gives you a lot of good time to have a good slow bulk and then time to.
which I haven't had in ages. So hopefully that's exactly what I need to put on what I need to put on for that next show.
That's great. And where's that one located?
So the one that I'm
Or you said there might be two. Yeah.
99% sure that I'm going to be doing will be Vegas.
Oh, nice.
And we are debating one international one, and I am looking at Dubai.
Wow, that would be, I've never been actually to either. Vegas, I've obviously heard that that's a blast, but Dubai sounds incredible. That would
That's
be an experience.
that's the one that I am thinking we might add in there. But
Yeah. Can you how far ahead of time do you have to sign up for that?
you technically can sign up until I think the week before.
So you
But
could see how the first one goes, and if you feel good, just be like, we're going.
but I'm a planner, so I'll probably know well in advance if that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you've got that, the bulk phase. Now, what's it look like for you just in general preparing for a show? How far out do you go? Like 16, 20 weeks usually?
So my coach and I will kind of decide based off of how my figure is looking in that moment. I'm assuming right now that we're gonna bulk up until spring is over, early summer, and then I would say probably right at the end of spring or beginning of summer is when we're gonna start the cut. I usually have to do a slow cut. I drop weight very, very, very quickly. That's the easy part for me that I've learned
Sure.
now. I thought
All
that
the
was the hard
women
part when I
hate
first
you for
started.
saying that, but that's okay.
But it's actually the opposite.
Oh,
So it's funny, everyone always thinks that losing weight is the hardest part, but once people have been through the true bulk and cut phases, 99% of us women are like, no, the bulk is the hard part. We can't eat enough food.
yeah.
I feel disgusting 24/7 because of how much food I'm just
Yes.
trying to eat. And then also you got to watch yourself in the mirror, get larger and be happy with it.
Yeah. You have
It's
to
not as rewarding because you're not.
delayed gratification. You have
Yes,
to know the purpose of it.
exactly. It's a necessary evil, but watching, and that's something I struggle with because I work so hard to lose all that baby weight and tone and look like I never had a kid. And then all of a sudden you start doing this and you're like, your definition is going away. You're getting larger. The scale is going up. It's emotionally draining. And then it's hard as well because I just physically can't get in enough food. So just, although we always say whole foods are the better option, supplementation for some of us is just necessary.
You
And
have to,
that's
yeah.
definitely the thing for me. I can't get in enough food physically. I would get sick.
That's what I hear, like listening to like Chris Evans and these guys in the Marvel movies, and they try to put on weight, and they're like, it's awful. The amount of chicken that you have to, and he's like, every hour or two, a guy's coming by with another plate of chicken. He's like, I don't want to eat that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's
you start looking at food and you're disgusted. You don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
So, and not that it's not hard for men too, it absolutely is, but females, most of us just don't have the capacity that men do when it comes to fueling their system. I mean, generally, it's harder for us to get that physical amount of protein in, food in. We feel bloated and disgusting. Our hormones get in the way and that affects things. But, I thought that cutting was the hardest part the first time I ever did it. And I was like, this is miserable. I can't have anything. I was saying I was super moody. But
I saw him walk up the stairs. We might have to call him over here for a minute to get that.
He'd be more than happy to come and talk about that. But the bulking phase is definitely significantly more challenging from an internal and external point. You just have to get so comfortable with watching yourself get larger.
All the stuff you worked to change.
Everything that you worked.
But I imagine the bulking it's a lot of muscle too. It's not like you're eating McDonald's and all that stuff and just no. So at least you're packing on a lot of the weight that you need to.
There's definitely some gratification in, watching your muscles get larger, but at the same time, with that always comes a little bit of body fat. And your definition might not be as hard. I mean, I get like the second I laugh because the second I start bulking, and some people laugh at me for this, but it's true because I have the photos to prove it. I get my cellulite back almost immediately. Like the second I start bulking, it's like, well, there's everything I worked so hard to get rid of.
But you're doing it now in the winter
But
and in the spring. So it's,
it's true.
summer,
It's
you
fine.
can get rid of it and you'll be good.
Exactly. So I will say, I think that the bulking phase is 10 times harder for me. And some of my clients who are now experiencing it for the first time have been saying the same thing.
Yeah.
When you experience that, it's so hard to get your mind to twist and turn into a completely different goal.
I've got to
evil.
think though, your gym numbers must skyrocket.
I mean, yes, there are a bunch of
weight
benefits.
you
I
can
mean,
move is got to be significant now.
yeah. So say your strength gets better, your sleep gets better. Usually our hormones are more balanced, typically. Mood swings tend to be less, but there's definitely some benefits to being in that bulking season, but it can be mentally draining for a lot of my clients, especially the ones who have never fully entered one before, and now they have to get comfortable with watching that scale go up.
What do you up your calories to, like, compared to what you normally have? Not like a cut. If you're on a normal day, around how many calories would you normally take in, roughly?
So roughly, obviously, as my weight changes, those calories change. It'll change pretty drastically depending on where I'm at. But right now we are roughly around 22.
Okay.
23, 22,
and
20.
What's the bulk go up to?
That will depend. Usually my coach and I every few weeks kind of just put those side by side and be like, okay, what do we have to adjust?
Yeah.
And I'm usually taking his recommendations on what he thinks I need to change, because sometimes we look at our own photos and we don't think the same way that we we do when we're looking at our clients' photos.
Yes.
It's a different feeling. So I trust his input and I listen to him, and a lot of times he actually won't even tell me the numbers. He gives me my program. He's like, and that's what you need to do. I'm like,
that's probably better, actually.
It's probably better because you're not thinking about it, but I'm definitely a numbers girl, and I'm almost like, I try to put everything into logistics and organize.
Yeah.
But he definitely usually tries to veer me away from that, because I do tend to get a little over obsessive, making sure that I'm doing it right. But it's right now it was a slow reverse diet, coming from how low I was coming out of the show in November, creeping myself back up, and I didn't do the best at it. I was, right when I got out of it, Thanksgiving was the week right after, and then you had Christmas and all the holiday parties. So I will say my stomach was not happy with me.
Yeah.
It was not happy from like some alcohol, that things that I haven't eaten in months. My digestive system just shut down.
I imagine. Yeah, it's like, Sam, what the hell are you doing to us?
Yeah,
give us a break.
So it was a gradual increase. I started eating at maintenance first to kind of just get myself back into a rhythm of having food again, and then slowly have been increasing it since. So we're getting more comfortable now. At least I'm not having the ridiculous pain that I would.
That's good. That's good. Now, how long do you have like a goal in mind, or are you just going to keep doing this till you stop enjoying it?
Is it when it comes to competing overall,
Yeah,
or the
like,
growth?
is there an end goal? Like, this is what I want to accomplish when I'm all said and done.
And when it comes to the end goal, I mean, for one, I definitely want to win at least one, because I'm this close every time. We're gonna get there.
Yes, we are. We have the utmost faith that you will do it.
So I want that, and then I want the experience of going maybe in the next year to the really big one where they host Worlds. They do change the location of that every year. So I haven't been able to experience the big one yet. I do want to experience that at least one, and enjoy the process of that. And we'll see how that goes and what I feel like after maybe experiencing that. But opportunities are endless right now, so we'll see.
That's good. Now, we had a guest on, Jay Riggins, a couple episodes ago, and he is doing something similar as you, but he's got the Mr. Olympia goal in mind. Is there something similar in the women's world? I'm not sure.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Where
that's
my
much
coach
bigger.
would love me to say that is my goal, because that is something he would love me to say.
Oh, we're not pushing you in that direction.
I'm still, fairly new into the whole competitive world, and this is a federation that I had a lot of fun with. It made me feel like I was performing again.
Yes.
I felt like that satisfied something that I felt like I was missing back from my former competitive days. But we have spoken about, potentially looking into the federation, such as NPC. So we'll see where that takes us. But for now, I'm enjoying what I'm doing
That's good.
and experiment.
That's good. That's good. Now, I noticed there were a lot, and maybe it's just because we had just met, so I'm noticing more. Is there more of a modeling piece to this now too?
There is, for sure, which is something I also really, really enjoy. That's part of probably my favorite part of it all, is I started fitness modeling professionally after my third, like shortly after I had my third. I did some modeling beforehand, but not like I did afterwards. And I'm signed by a great agency. We've had some great experiences. My kids were in one commercial with me. That was
nice.
torturous.
Oh, never mind.
Fun, but torturous.
Good
I will
looking
say.
back on, maybe?
Fun looking back on, but like in the process, when you're trying to film a commercial with a toddler.
Oh, I was going to ask you, how old were they at the time?
At the time, they were, my baby was like baby. They didn't want him in the commercial because he was so little. So I think my son was like 15, 3 and 4.
Okay.
And my daughter would have been like 6ish.
Okay.
She would have about 6. So yeah, we did that. And my son is also very devilish, for lack of a better term. So, director's like, go this way. He's like,
Go the other
complete
way. Yeah.
opposite.
Yes.
You're trying so hard not to scream in front of the camera.
Especially because it's rolling and they'll catch it all. Yeah.
Yes. So I've done quite a few fun things on my own, but although that was a great experience with them, not super eager to do that again anytime soon.
Yeah. Maybe when they're in their teens or something, when they can listen to direction.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I will say, from this federation, I like that I've got to work with a lot of awesome, highly accredited photographers that are very well known, and created a good name in the industry with them. And I've had some amazing work done by all of them. My portfolio is a lot larger than it was before I started with this federation. I'm very grateful.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I saw one of the things you had posted where you were talking about the difficulty in getting the good shot when the waves kept crashing over on you and everything. It looked like you were handling it well, though. You had a smile on your face. I mean,
that one we joked about. We were in the middle of a cyclone, like the sirens were going off.
Oh.
And it was downpouring. We catch like pockets where it would kind of lighten up.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, I guess we're gonna push through it.
Yeah. Was at least warm, I hope.
Oh, it was warm. I would say the rain was a little chilly, but it was warm. But the red flags were up for the wave, so they didn't want people in the water. But I barely was in the water.
Oh, yeah.
But definitely, it almost took me a couple of times. It's like, we're gonna fight through it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So it seems like this has opened up a lot of avenues for you. Is there anything else that's like percolating in your mind that you might want to take this to, aside from the modeling and the fitness competitions?
I will say I like the community that it's built, and I've met a lot more, both moms and not just women in general, who have come to me for advice and tips and tricks when it comes to going into pregnancy or coming out of pregnancy. And just being able to create that community where I've had more people to communicate with has been amazing. Huge blessing. I'm started this to help people, and I feel like that broadcasted me a little bit more to be able to help more people, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
That's an awesome way to look at it. So would you ever want to get on stage in front of people and not perform but talk and teach people in large audiences, that sort of thing?
I absolutely would. I wouldn't say I'm the best speaker, but
Well, you come across very well spoken. I don't think that's an issue.
I
Maybe
definitely
on
would.
stage it's different. I don't know, but you know what you're talking about. That comes
I'm
across.
a good fake it till you make it kind of person. If I want to do it, I'll make it happen. And then afterwards, people are like, "Oh, you did so good." I'm like, "Really?" Because I'm like dying inside.
I feel like that's how most people are, but they just hide it really, really well. So
Yeah, I would say I'm usually good at hiding it. Definitely a big fake it till you make it kind of person.
that's good. That's good. I was going through some of your stuff, and there were a couple quotes. Can I pick your brain on some of these? Because I honestly, I was just going down the list. I'm like, that's a good one. That's another good one. That's like, so it's gonna seem like I took the easy way, just picked the first couple, but they were all good. But one thing, and I love this one: the fastest way to build your dream body is stop looking for the fastest way.
Yes.
Is
I can't tell you how many times I have clients who come in and I mean, we all want that easy
yeah,
fix, that fast fix. I mean, naturally, I would if I could. That'd be nice.
absolutely.
But it's hard to train people not to think about the next fad diet, the next fad workout plan, whether, it be this new style of group fitness or, intermittent fasting, all these other different options. And they'll try it. The problem is there's a few things happening. One, if they do see results, usually it's not because they're losing what they think they're losing.
Yeah.
And then it also isn't sustainable and you don't keep the results. People need to stop thinking so much about how can I get this so fast as to how can I get this and maintain it? And teaching my clients that those habits, those short and long-term habits that will all add up to getting you the results that you want and keep them there is what I strive to do.
And I think, like, yes, we want it quickly and we want it just done, but it's so much more rewarding when it's a long grind and you're like, damn, that sucked, but I did it.
Yeah,
And it, and then when you go to try something new or something different, you already know you've gone through a really tough experience before and you found your way through it. So you've built that confidence in yourself. And I think it just makes it that much better.
oh,
Um,
absolutely. And I will
so
say that I think that it travels into other aspects of life. I was nowhere near as even mentally and emotionally strong as I was before I started bodybuilding. I think even if someone didn't want to necessarily go the competitive route or be this crazy bodybuilder, just overall health and longevity, you'll notice that, as your body gets stronger, you get stronger mentally too. Like even when things surprise me or things happen in life, my coping mechanisms are a lot better
yeah.
than they used to be. So I think that it just makes you overall a stronger person in general.
Well, even if you think about the simple thing of like you build more muscle, your heart works better, the blood pumps better, so oxygen's being delivered to your brain much more quickly than if everything isn't working the way it is. So cognitively, you're better. You're going to sleep better. Like everything gets
Absolutely.
better. Um, it would be great if you could just snap your fingers and have it
Yeah.
happen. Like,
If only.
yeah, I got a show tomorrow. Bam, done. All right, I'm ready to go. But
Like, oh, that'd be the life.
but then again, though, when I see somebody who I know is in good shape, like there's a level of respect I have because I know it's one of the few things in life there isn't a side like a shortcut to. Like you have to be consistent. You have to follow like a plan. You've got to just do it over and over and over again and do it well. I was at my son's basketball game tonight, and I'm in the stands, and I hope this doesn't come across as I'm making fun of anybody at all because I'm really not. But I was looking at the number of people in their 40s, 50s, and up who had trouble walking up the bleachers,
Yes.
and I'm just thinking like that. That's just not a way I want to live. And we lost Sam for a second. Um, I'm gonna keep recording until she hops back on. What was that, 34 minutes? There you
Oh, there
are.
we are. I think I lost you for a second. Okay.
No, that's all right.
But
That's
no,
all right.
yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, one of my clients once came in and I asked her what her goal was. Now she was 74 at the time. I've been working with her a couple of years now. But her goal at the time was to lift her 35-pound of kitty litter and put it into her car, or 35 pounds of kitty litter into her back of her car from the store. So I was like, well, that's a good goal.
Yeah.
We can do that. So it's like that applicable, functional goal, I think,
Yes.
is what a lot of people forget about, that we can create a better quality of life long term.
Yeah. Things like being able to bend over and tie your shoes without having to,
Pick up your grandchildren,
yeah,
or not
and just
be nervous you're going
enjoy.
to fall up and down the stairs. Yes.
Yeah, all that stuff. So yes, I love that one. Another one, oh, I can barely read my own writing here. That's bad. I'll go to this one. Um, I'm gonna have to pause this. Let me write down so I can read my
It's
writing.
okay.
35-25. Okay, I'll cut that. Um, okay. Don't be a first-rate version of yourself instead of a second-rate version of somebody else. That one I loved.
And so it's actually, I can't take all the credit. That was Judy Garland's
Oh,
quote,
Judy
but
Garland. That's okay. That's okay. You're giving credit. Judy Garland. What made you connect
but I
with that
love
one?
that. I love that quote, because constantly now, not just to me, but I do get a lot of clients that do come to me because they want to look like me. That's what brings them to me in the first place. And I say, what's your goal? They're like, that.
Yeah.
You. That's my goal. I'm like, okay, awesome. That's a great goal to have. But I think a lot of times, people spend all this time scrolling on Instagram or any social media, or just even real life, just being like, I want to look like that person. I want to look like that person. I want to look like that person. Awesome. But you are not them. You
Yeah.
might not gain muscle the way they gain muscle. You might not lose fat the way they lose fat, but you can be the best possible version of you that we can make you. But start with the picture of you and trying to top each and every one of those, instead of looking at someone else's and saying, I want to accomplish that.
Yeah, I like that. And I think it hit me differently. I'm just thinking my teaching background, and I see kids because they're getting into adolescence, and you can see them change and morph to fit the group.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
you see them unhappy. And the happiest kids are the ones who just don't care. They're just themselves. And honestly, they're the most popular ones. And it's not because they're cool. It's just people appreciate somebody who's knows who they are. They're confident in that. And they're like you said, the best version, a first-rate version of yourself, of who
Absolutely.
you actually are. Um, so I think getting that message out there is huge. Stop trying to be other people. There's only one Sam Koop. So you can't be her, but you can be the best version of yourself.
I don't know. My
And
daughter's pretty close. She's getting closer and closer every day.
I think one Sam Koop is probably plenty for your husband there. I don't know if he can do two.
He would agree.
And then I'll throw one more out there, and then I don't want to keep you all night. But if you don't change your habits, you're not going to have a new year. You're just going to have another year. That one I love too, obviously, because I read it to you. But that one, where'd that one come from?
Actually, that is one that one of my coaches said to me a long time ago. That's been in the back of my brain ever since college. But especially when you have the new year roll around and clients come in, or even just existing clients, and are like, okay, now I want to get back on top of my goals. Awesome. But sometimes people are looking too far ahead. Like, you have to set smaller goals, more achievable goals, smart goals,
Yes.
and plan for those. Like, celebrate every little victory and be happy with watching those small goals happen, and don't focus on the fact that you haven't achieved that long-term goal yet.
Yeah.
Because people focus so much on that, and they want it to happen so fast. So they get very disappointed, discouraged, and they give up, and they stop looking and stop seeing those small ones they've already accomplished, and they're not taking those into appreciation enough.
Yeah. Or you see people like, I've been to the gym every day for a month and I've only lost 3 pounds. You're like, that's awesome. Like 3 pounds? You do that for a year, you're down almost 40 pounds. Like that's,
Exactly.
and I
Exactly.
like you said, you've got to appreciate those small victories along the way and understand it's
Yeah.
not linear. You're not going to
No.
be constant. Like things come up and it just, some days are just different. You do everything the same. You wake up and you put on a pound and you're like, well, what the hell happened? But that just happens. But you do it consistently for long enough, then you're gonna get where you want to go if you're on the right path there.
Absolutely.
I think that's where the good coaching comes in. Like the people who come to see you and you go to a coach yourself. Like that's I think really refreshing for people to hear is, you're getting on stage, you're competing with the goal in mind of winning, but you can't do it on, like, you need help too. Like it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to have
Yeah,
guidance. Like that's the best way to get someplace is to work with people who have been there and who know what they're doing. Um,
definitely.
and I think a lot of people, and I think this is more the guys, our ego gets in the way where you don't want to ask for help. You don't want to, like, you're at the gym, you just want to do your own thing and you want to grab as much weight as you can and throw that around and you
Yeah,
expect that's the way to do it when, in retrospect, you're not putting on as much muscle as you could. You're probably going to hurt yourself. It's going to set you back. And then depression sets in because you're
yeah,
frustrated with how it's going. And, that's when the emotional roller coaster starts. So,
definitely.
yeah, I think having help is a really important thing there. Um, is there anything else, like anything else you wanted to share with people about what's coming up for you? Are there, I know you've got the show in November or October. Um, is there anything else people can see that you're doing? Anywhere people can find you?
I mean, other than my Instagram, usually when things pop up, I'm posting them on there. I try to be as open about my journey as I possibly can because I think that sometimes that is relatable to other people and that they can use my information, the things that I've struggled with, the things that have worked for me, as tools, resources. But other than my shows and taking it day by day, we're trying
Yeah.
to
Dance
set
recitals
some
and everything
set
else.
some new
Yes.
heights and
Yes.
see what else we can achieve. I'm hoping to do a lot more modeling gigs this year, but we'll see what God blesses us with.
Yeah, that's good. And what I do have a goal for you that needs to be accomplished within the next week. You need
Okay.
to make your ice cream.
I
You need to make your ice cream and let me know
will.
how that. Good,
I will. I
good.
will post it. I will tag you in it. We'll see how it
I
is.
appreciate that. I appreciate. Oh, and one thing I meant to say that I wanted to commend you on is you handle comments people leave you. So there are tons of positives and there are way more positives than negatives, but the negative ones are, some people are just jerks and you
Some people are
handle it with
mean.
such class. Like it's really impressive because I'm sure you want to go off on some of them sometimes.
Oh, for sure. And don't get me wrong. Definitely sometimes I have. And but I had so much social media anxiety going on to Instagram. And I really didn't start until last year, beginning of last year. It was actually my New Year's goal. I said, you are going to post every day, no matter how embarrassed you are. 'Cause I get so worked up and so nervous. And, you know, they, my husband, my family, my friends are like, Sam, calm down. So you don't know the person. Why they're probably trolls that are purposely trying to say these things in
Yeah.
order to get to people. And that's true. But I'm, because I was raised with the golden rule embedded in me more than anything. I'm like, if you're not going to say anything, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
So, like, I see things I don't like on Instagram, and that's fine. I just roll past.
Yeah.
But some people can't do that. And I think a lot of people are discouraged from sharing their stories or trying to start a social media page or be vocal about any of their experiences because they're scared of judgment off of social media. And that makes me really upset. And I definitely don't always handle it very well. I get emotional when people are that mean, and some people have been pretty mean. But I've been grown in learning that, you have to laugh at it. You have to. So I've started making, videos when people post some really
I like when you
interesting ones.
I do like when you, and a lot of those, when people, like, it could be a troll or a bot, but a lot of
It
it
could be.
comes from insecurities people have about
Oh,
themselves, so they
absolutely.
throw it at somebody else. There's a
Absolutely. And I try to vocalize that just so that other people notice, like, hey, even someone like that I admire as much as some people have told they admire me, she gets comments like these too. So it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
No,
not
I
just
do
me.
think it's good for people to see that, everybody, everybody's dealing with that. And I don't know, it would be a heck of a lot better place if people would just support everybody and be happy
Exactly.
for the hard work that they put in. There's a guy on too. I don't know. I think that his tag's Losing It with Nick or something like that. And he's probably about 350 pounds now, but he's down from 600. And he's been, um, you know, I can't even think of the word. He's been chronicling it. I'll go with that one, but that's not at all what I was trying to say. But he'll throw up the comments too that people make sometimes, and it's
Yeah.
he's lost half his weight
Half
already,
his
and
weight.
he's working his tail off. And
Yes.
it's I think the more
It's an
you support
incredible,
everybody out there, and regard if it's 5 pounds and somebody's lost that and
yeah.
that's difficult, that's incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, or even, they got their quads juiced up for a show and they didn't think they could. Like that's awesome. So I think,
Exactly.
yeah. All right. So I think we'll leave everybody with that. Let's spread a little positivity
I
and
say,
love out there
be
that,
kind.
yes, how about everybody just goes out and leave a positive comment. You don't even have to know it. It's just anything you see, leave something positive for somebody. We can do that.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Sam, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and we'd love to have you back on after Dubai. If you if you decide to do that, we would love to have you back on.
That will be a cool one.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You have a great night.
You too.